Stress, it will literally destroy you if you don't know how to manage it. If you don't know how to manage your emotions, there's no way you're gonna be able to lose weight. And in this video, I'm gonna give you 5 powerful tools that's gonna allow you to not just manage and handle your stress and emotions, but to fucking make you the master of your emotions. Because if you want to transform your body, you have to change your behaviors. And if you wanna change your behaviors, you have to master what's going on inside your head, what's going on with your emotions. Because stress can either be a poison or it can be a motherfucking superpower. And I'm gonna explain that to you in a second. But first, let me talk to you about why you should even listen to me. All right, so in 2012, I was 360 pounds. I was morbidly obese. I was depressed. I had anxiety. I was ready to off myself. Let me say that. I'm not trying to mess up the algorithm or, YouTube get funny about that. But one day I woke up and I decided to stop accepting mediocrity from myself. I decided to stop being a pussy and I wanted to master my emotions. I wanted to master my mind. And I've been on that quest ever since. And on this channel, I give away all the things that I fucking learned during that process because it made me a god. It made me the master of my reality. And there are steps you can take, every single person watching this, that will give you the power over your mind and your emotions, all right? So like this video and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're trying to step your shit up. If you're trying to get to levels of self-mastery where you can make your living life right now heaven. Life is heaven for me. But anyway, we'll get into that another time. But before we get into today's video, I want you to download the 50 books that changed my life. I get asked all the time, what do I read, right? That gave me this new mindset. I didn't always think like this. Now, I've read probably 900 books over the last 10 years or so, and I put the top 50 on this list. And I want you to download that list right now. If you don't read, bro, step your shit up. Start reading. Feed your mind something powerful. All right, so the first tip to help you manage your emotions and your stress is for you to mentally reframe stress as something that's here to serve you. You have to mentally reframe it. If right now stress is something that fucking turns you into this little ball of putty, if stress currently inspires you to make decisions, to display behaviors that fucking destroy your health, right? If stress makes you want to eat so much food and feel shitty about yourself, if stress handicaps you, then we got some work that we need to do on yourself. And that's true for all of us. I have my moments too. But you got to understand something about stress. Stress is here to serve you. Stress is a gift, but you got to fucking look at it that way. You have to look at it that way. The mindset that you frame stress through, your mindset about stress determines how stress affects you. There's 2 ways to look at it. This is called the stress mindset theory, right? And this states the way you perceive stress dramatically affects the way that it impacts you. Here's a perfect example of how you can have 2 different perspectives on the same experience. There's starving and then there's fasting. What's the difference? The way that you're mentally framing it. If I tell myself I'm starving because I'm poor and I don't have money and I don't have food, and I tell myself, no, I'm fasting, it's gonna have 2 very different effects on my body. It's all mental. Stress, you have to choose to look at stress as a signal for you to grow, because it is. So let's rewind the clock, let's say 5 years ago. If I got an unexpected $500 tax bill, that shit would have stressed me out. But today, if I get an unexpected $500 tax bill, it's like, okay, that's not a big deal, right? I just fucking pay it. Back when an unexpected $500 tax bill stressed me out, it was a signal that I needed to motherfucking get my money up. You feel me? So take an assessment of what's stressing you out and what areas of your life can you improve? What areas of yourself can you develop to make this thing that is currently stressing you out a non-factor? Again, that's a mindset. You got to choose to look at it that way. Now, I don't care what your situation is. We have jobs that stress us out. If you have a job that stresses you out, you should use that frustration to inspire you to be creative enough to find another way to make some motherfucking money. If you are in a relationship with someone who is stressing you out, that means you are attracting or accepting what you think you deserve. So if you level up, You can either inspire that person to level up, or you can put yourself in a position to be able to leave the relationship. Your choice. The point is, if something's stressing you out, let's take the communication from the emotion that I'm experiencing from this stressful experience and allow it to point out where I need to motherfucking step my game up at. All right, so the next tip, we need to learn to feel our fucking feelings. Men especially, we are horrible at allowing ourselves to just feel what we're feeling. We've been trained either by the men in our lives or by our tendency to try to escape uncomfortable feelings to avoid them, right? We've been taught to avoid our feelings. There was dudes in my neighborhood, bro, why the fuck you crying, bro? Suck it up. And that shit is not healthy. And we grew up thinking that we are not allowed to feel our feelings. And when we suppress our emotions, when we suppress our feelings, we typically try to make ourselves feel better with food, with sex, with alcohol, these things that destroy us. But if you can train yourself to feel your feelings, right? To allow yourself to really sit quietly and not fucking do anything. Just feel them. You got to understand, emotions comes in waves. What feels like this big dramatic emotion right now, if you just sit and you breathe, that shit will pass. Now, I want to give you guys some practical steps. I don't want to just tell you to feel your feelings, right? I want to give you some practical steps on how to fucking feel your feelings. The first step is to just acknowledge that you're having a heightened emotional moment, right? And it's all right, bro. Listen, you are not less of a man because you are feeling your emotions. Acknowledge it. Name the emotion. Ask yourself, get curious. All right, let me stop right now. I'm feeling fucked up. I'm all over the place. My heartbeat is racing real fast. This thing just triggered me. Let me get curious. What's happening right now? Why am I feeling this? What am I feeling? Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling frustrated? Am I feeling disappointed? There's something that happens in our brain when we name our emotions that helps us process our feelings. Instead of trying to escape them, instead of trying to deny them, because that energy, it's stored in your body, it's stored in your tissues, right? And if you don't process it in a healthy way, you think this shit just gonna disappear into the ethers? Nah, that shit is stored in your body. You feel what I'm saying? And at some point it's gonna come up. And a lot of the times it comes up in a way that is very violent or in a way that is very self-destructive. The second way for you to feel your feelings is to fucking breathe. Once you named your feelings, right? You identify, damn, I'm having a moment. Get away from anyone else, right? You want to make sure you protect the people around you. I know I got to do that when I'm having a moment. I'll tell my son, like, yo, let me take a moment. I need to go upstairs. And then I'll sit in my chair. I'll close my eyes and I just take some deep breaths. I focus on my breath. I try to bring myself into the present moment. I try to get control of the physiological response, right? My heart rate's beating. My heart's beating fast. My blood pressure feels like it's through the roof, right? I start feeling like tightness in my chest. I start feeling a tightness in my stomach. Let me sit and breathe through all of that shit. Let me acknowledge it and be present. That shit helps so much. The next thing, you want to find a way to express that shit. I'm a big advocate for journaling. I write everything down. Either I write it or I'll do a voice note or I'll call a friend, and we're gonna get into that. I'll call a friend and say, hey, listen, someone who I trust, obviously, someone who knows me well. And I have a place to deposit this shit. All right, so the next one, you want to identify your triggers. What is the thing that's inspiring you to feel shitty? Like, what's the thing that sparks it? Is it a conversation that you had with your significant other and they disrespected you? Is it some stressful shit that's going on at work? You got some deadlines? Is it whatever? I don't know. Like, what is it? What is it that triggers you into this moment? So the next time you have an intense moment, I want you to stop and reflect. You have to learn to understand your emotions. You have to learn to recognize patterns in your emotions. You have to proactively manage your emotions and your stress. And the only way you can do this is by being intentional about reflecting in those moments. Get curious. What's happening? Ask yourself the right questions. Again, journal this shit down. Write it in a book. Make a video to yourself. I don't care how you capture the moment. I don't care how you investigate what's going on with you in that moment. Investigate and document. That way you can refer back to it. Again, you start to pick up on these patterns, right? And once you start to understand your emotions, you start to understand your triggers, you can start to navigate your life and plan your life a little bit better, right? You know to avoid certain situations or to avoid certain people because you have the insight from being in that situation before and you knew that shit triggered you. The reflection piece is important. Understanding your triggers are important. You got to know what the fuck is going on. Tip 4, and I'm not gonna go too deep into this one. You need to get more sleep. Yo, I've had clients who were always on edge, who couldn't lose weight, who couldn't control their appetites, who couldn't control their emotions, and it was because there simply wasn't getting enough sleep. There's a lot of science on this. I don't want to spend too much time in this video talking about this. Get more sleep. All right, so the final tip, and this one is super important, you want to connect with tribe. Now, if you're a man watching this video, which is a 90-something% chance that you're a man watching this video, and this is my opinion, and this is a controversial opinion. I don't think men should vent to their women, not to the women in their life who are their romantic partners, right? I have women in my life that I can kind of turn to. I have friends, but I would never vent or deposit any of my emotional struggles on my woman to a certain extent, right? And again, it depends on her emotional intelligence, but most women, they can't handle the shit that men go through. They can't handle it. Your partner will probably be scared if you dropped all that shit on her. That's just my advice, right? But anyway, connecting with tribe is super important, right? Because for one, it gives you a healthy outlet to process the emotions. It's something so powerful about being able to have conversations about the shit that's happening with your emotions, with you mentally. Having conversations where you feel safe and you don't feel judged and you're getting unbiased feedback is such a powerful thing. It also, when you connect with tribe and you connect with the right people, they're gonna hold you accountable. Especially if they know you, they love you, they believe in you, they're gonna hold you accountable. They're not gonna let you, sulk and not step your shit up. You feel what I'm saying? So it's important that you have folks in your life. My tribe is dope. I don't know what I would be without my tribe. Straight up. Tap in with tribe is super duper important. Okay, so let's review this, right? Tip 1, you want to mentally reframe stress. Stress is something to serve you, and if you don't choose to look at it that way, it will fucking destroy you. Tip 2, feel your fucking feelings. Stop trying to avoid the shit. Get curious, understand what's happening. Tip 3, identify your triggers. Start to understand what sparks these moments and do everything you can to avoid that shit. Tip 4, make sure you're getting enough sleep. And tip 5, make sure you're connecting with a trusted tribe. And if you're a man, make sure it's bros. Connect with the bros. I hope that was helpful. Please leave the video a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. I have a playlist of videos that are just like this, right? Where we're kind of getting into the mental and emotional aspects of wellness in general, right? I want everybody to level up. So check out this playlist. And as always, remember, the body that you want is owned by a higher version of yourself. So evolve. Peace.